Pioneer 10, now out of contact with Earth, is heading towards a star that it will reach in about 2 million years, Aldebaran. This star, known as the fiery eye of Taurus, dominates the sky for much of the year, from autumn to spring. Aldebaran is one of the largest and brightest stars visible from Earth and harbors many secrets, both mythological and scientific. Aldebaran is often at the center of conspiracy theories. For example, Axel Stoll, a German geophysicist and author of many pseudo-scientific books, claimed that the Aryan race of the Nazis came from this star, traveling in UFOs that, unsurprisingly, are a common feature in the most absurd theories. However, setting aside these fantasies, the reddish and mysterious light of Aldebaran might be what makes it the subject of such stories. Aldebaran is easy to spot in the sky. Simply start from the constellation Orion, follow the alignment of the 3 stars in its belt to the right, and you'll reach a group of stars forming a large V. One of the vertices of this V is the bright orange-red star we call Aldebaran. This V is formed by the Hyades, an open star cluster. Although Aldebaran seems to be the brightest member, it actually does not physically belong to the Hyades, which are about 100 light-years farther away. The Hyades represent the face of the Taurus constellation, while Aldebaran is its fiery eye. With a magnitude of 0.75, Aldebaran is the 14th brightest star in the sky and the brightest in Taurus, also known as Alpha Tauri. The name Aldebaran comes from Arabic, where Aldebar means the follower. In its motion in the sky, Aldebaran indeed follows the Pleiades. In myth, the Taurus is Zeus, who transforms into a bull to abduct the princess Europa. From the union of Zeus and Europa, Minos, the mythical king of Crete, was born. In some legends, Minos' daughter, Euryale, became the mother of Orion, born from her union with the sea god Poseidon. Thus, the myths of these 2 constellations intertwine, often depicted as Orion, the hunter, facing Taurus. Orion, known for his rough manners, tried to conquer the Pleiades, the 7 sisters, daughters of Atlas and Pleione, but Zeus turned them into stars to save them, placing Taurus to defend them. The association of the Taurus figure with these stars is very ancient, dating back to the Copper Age, at least to the 5th millennium BC. In fact, Taurus is one of the oldest zodiac constellations, identified as such by both the Babylonians and Egyptians. Aldebaran has been the eye of this bull for an immemorial time. During the Copper Age, Aldebaran occupied an important position in the sky, near the vernal point, where the sun is located during the spring equinox, around March 20th. This point is the intersection of the celestial equator and the ecliptic, the sun's annual path. When the sun passes through this point, the equator is at the zenith, meaning directly above the observer, and its rays hit the Earth's axis perpendicularly, marking the beginning of spring. The vernal point is also called the Point of Aries, because in Greek times it was located in the constellation Aries, while today it is in Pisces. However, during the Copper Age, it was in Taurus, near Aldebaran. This variation is linked to the precession of the equinoxes, a wobble of the Earth's axis that completes a cycle in about 26,000 years. Aldebaran is very close to the ecliptic just below it, which is why many celestial bodies, including the moon, pass near it. In some cases, the moon can even occult Aldebaran, temporarily covering it. These events, although frequent, are valuable from a scientific point of view. For example, Edmund Halley, known for predicting the return of the comet that bears his name, studied an occultation of Aldebaran observed in Athens in 509 BC. By making calculations, he discovered that such an occultation would not have been possible unless the star had moved in the sky since then. Although we call stars fixed, they are not fixed at all. They move relative to the sun as they orbit the center of the galaxy. Halley demonstrated this motion by noting that 4 stars, Sirius, Arcturus, Betelgeuse, and Aldebaran, had shifted compared to ancient star catalogs. Lunar occultations of stars are used to study various aspects of celestial bodies. For example, they can reveal the profile of lunar mountains, or help determine the size of a star by measuring the rate at which its light dims when it is occulted. In the case of Aldebaran, these occultations are often used to measure its diameter, which is very large compared to most other stars. But why is Aldebaran so large? Let's take a closer look. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and turn on the notification bell. In 1782, William Herschel, while working on a large star catalog, noticed that Aldebaran was not alone. There was also a faint companion. However, other studies have shown that these two stars are moving away from each other and therefore cannot be part of a binary system. A century later, in 1888, the American Sherburne Burnham discovered another faint star near Aldebaran and one near the one Herschel had found, hypothesizing that it was a double system. However, only Alpha Tauri b, a small red dwarf, seems to be the only real companion of Aldebaran. Although we are not entirely sure of this, as separating and studying such a faint star relative to the main component is very difficult. The main star, Alpha Tauri A, or Aldebaran, is a K-type red giant, which has left the main sequence after exhausting the hydrogen in its core. It is now burning helium in the core and hydrogen in an outer layer. In 1864, the Englishman William Huggins obtained the first spectrum of Aldebaran, discovering iron, sodium, calcium, and magnesium. Today, in the spectrum of Aldebaran, we have also found traces of carbon, oxygen, and nitrogen, indicating that the star has undergone the dredge-up phase, an evolutionary stage of red giants where material is transported from the core to the exterior. Aldebaran is slightly more massive than the Sun, with a mass of 1.16 solar masses. Being a red giant, it is also very large, but it is not very hot. Its surface temperature is about 4,000 degrees Celsius, while the Sun, despite being smaller, has a temperature of about 6,000 degrees Celsius. Aldebaran is not too far from Earth. Data from ESA's Hipparcos mission indicates that it is about 65 light-years away. It is not one of the stars closest to the Sun, but its relative proximity and high brightness make it well visible in the night sky. The future of Aldebaran? In about 10 million years, the star will have exhausted all its helium, begin burning carbon, and finally, when it has no more fuel, will expel its outer layers, forming a planetary nebula, leaving behind a white dwarf. This white dwarf will be primarily composed of oxygen and carbon, the final products of helium fusion, and will shine with a faint blue light. It will be all that remains of the fiery eye of Taurus. Thank you for following us, and see you next time.